Welcome to another episode of Senior Care Insights. Welcome, Kim. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Deb. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing great. So I understand that you are the Director of Sales for Harmony Cares Hospice.
I am.
And you want to tell us a little bit about that and what all you guys cover?
Sure. So Harmony Cares Hospice operates in 7 states across the country. We're in Texas, we are in Illinois, we're in Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and Virginia. And so my job is I work with the community liaisons who are responsible for educating people locally on the hospice benefit. And when a referral comes in from a physician or a facility, they are meeting with that family to explain the benefit and make them feel a little bit less scared about that H word and help them understand exactly what their options are.
Okay. So why would a provider recommend hospice to begin with?
Well, that's a great question. When you are talking to an individual who has just heard from their doctor, I think it's time for hospice. When you hear that, that would be probably about the same as hearing that you have a terminal diagnosis. It just, everything stops and you just can't believe you've heard that, and it just puts your mind in a different place where you're just not sure because you just don't know what to expect. So when a doctor is recommending hospice, usually it's because there's a combination of things. You have to have a life-limiting illness, and if that disease runs its natural course, the prognosis is going to be that you'll live 6 months or less. So that's one element of it. The other element is that you have either you've said it or you've demonstrated that you just don't want to seek aggressive treatment for a cure any longer. Maybe you just don't want to go to the hospital anymore. You want to just stay home and be comfortable. Those are kind of common things that would lead a doctor to recommending that hospice is maybe a good option for you at this point. It would be the right level of care for where you are right now. And what that means is a lot of people, you have to qualify for hospice. So you can't just decide you want it. You have to medically qualify. So a nurse would come out to do the assessment and talk with the hospice medical director. And, there are some formalities around whether you qualify or not. But it is really not uncommon for a patient to be on hospice, and when their symptoms are managed and they're pain-free, they're comfortable, they perk up, and no longer are they showing a decline that keeps them eligible for the benefit. So when that happens, they would, we call it graduate. So they come off of service, and then we just stay in touch to make sure everything's going okay periodically. And when those declines start to happen again and they are again medically eligible, they can come back on. So hospice has changed a lot since it started. And one of those things is it's more common now for people to be going off and on hospice and qualifying and then graduating. So that is some of what goes around when a doctor is recommending hospice.
Okay. Yeah. When I spoke with Audrey, who is one of your community liaisons here in the Lansing area, she mentioned that, everybody doesn't necessarily, it doesn't mean that you are going to die right away if you hear the word hospice, although there are many people who wait too long to go on hospice.
Right.
So, in terms of what you see, how often does that happen that they wait too long to go on hospice?
Well, that is more often the case than being ready for it and not qualifying. There's just a lot that goes into accepting your mortality. and just psychologically being ready to accept that. And so when I do go and speak to somebody, one thing that is always talked about prior to even talking about what hospice is I ask them what they understand about their diagnosis, so that I have an understanding about where are they in accepting their disease process. What do they know about it? How much do I need to educate on, that disease itself versus just what the hospice benefit is? And then along with that, I ask, what do they know about hospice? What have they had an experience with it? What's that been like? Tell me a little bit about that, because there are a lot of perceptions about what hospice is, and a lot of times it's not really what hospice is. So when people are talking about hospice because they've been referred to us, it's important to get an understanding of that. But then they also want to know, how long do they have to live? And so, we're all going to die. There's just, we don't get out of here alive, right? So
Right.
We don't know exactly when, but what we understand is that they no longer want that aggressive treatment, and they want to have control over their healthcare choices again. When you have that terminal diagnosis, it feels like you no longer have control over what's happening to you. And so what hospice focuses on is that remaining time being quality over quantity. We'll discuss with the patient what their goals of care are, and then a personalized care plan is developed around meeting those goals. Some common goals for a person who is ready for hospice include no longer wanting to go to the hospital. Like I said before, they just want that comfort. Maybe they don't want to take a certain medication anymore. And so they just want to be comfortable at home. You hear that a lot in your line of work, where people just want to stay home. So they're bringing caregivers in to support them. So that is, around how long do I have to live, and waiting too long. It is a fact that when people come on hospice sooner than later, they do tend to live longer, and they do tend to have a better quality, because hospice has gotten in there and we're ahead of all of those symptoms and managing them. So you don't have to have that catch up. And so it just leads to a better experience. Most people, after their loved one has passed, it's so common to hear, we should have done this sooner. And so it's just a natural thing to resist, accepting what's going on when you have that kind of a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we hear the same thing about home care. A lot of people say, oh, we wish we would have done it sooner, but I know people like to stay independent, and, they just want to take that next step until they really have to. Sometimes it's too late too. So,
right.
So who is on your hospice team?
So the hospice team is comprised of a group of professionals, and the one that is generally most noticed is the RN case manager. That would be the registered nurse who is really in charge of your care plan. They will be consulting with the hospice medical director, with pharmacists. They're managing your supplies. If you need durable medical equipment in the home, they are really just everything about your care. They are managing it. The RN is also the only required part of the service based on Medicare guidelines. You have to have the RN come into the home once every 14 days. Everything else is optional. And for most people, the nurse is coming in 1 or 2 times a week. And then the frequency of those visits will increase as you need. So it's not, you start and it's this way. It's always changing to meet your needs.
Okay.
Um,
Really
we
good.
have, huh?
I said that sounds really good because people think once you start with something, it stays the same.
Right.
That's not necessarily true.
Right. Well, and to contrast with home health, where the skilled home health is coming in to help you get better, as you get better, their visits taper off. So it's just kind of an opposite idea of what most people are used to with home health.
Mm-hmm.
Your team's also going to have a certified nursing aide. They're called different things in different states, but commonly it's a CNA. In Ohio, they're called STNAs. They are available to help you with bathing and grooming, getting dressed, just those activities of daily living that help you feel kind of just, normal, I guess is a good way to say that. There'll be a social worker available, and these are licensed professionals who are helpful to connect you with the resources in the community. And those could be things that are maybe financial resources. It could be helping with family dynamics, funeral planning, just the gamut of resources. That family dynamics, I just want to make a point just to pin it here. A lot of people are hesitant to bring hospice services in because they're worried about, just how their family gets along or doesn't get along. And I just want to reassure you that there is nothing that we haven't seen that would surprise us. There's no judgment. We meet families and patients right where they are, and there is no agenda to get you to be something any different. So I just want to make sure that everybody recognizes you don't have to be a certain way for us to take care of you. We meet you where you are.
Okay.
Another member of the team is the chaplain, and they're available for spiritual support. And, dying can bring a lot of things to the conscious and things that maybe are unresolved issues. Maybe they have questions about where they're going to go when they die. Chaplains are available to support and help them find peace. Never, ever to, push you towards a particular belief system. Again, that's another thing. You meet them where they are. You do not need to have faith to benefit from the chaplain services. They just are a really good support for the family as well as the patient. A volunteer. Many patients enjoy the company of a volunteer, and we try to match them so that their likes and their personalities jive. Some people like to just have that companion time, a visit. Maybe they like to play cards or do puzzles. Maybe they can't see anymore, so reading is hard, but they always enjoyed it. We could read the newspaper, read a book, those are the kinds of things. It's just to add another layer of pleasure, if you will, to their day. It can also provide some respite for the caregiver. That might be the time for them to take a nap or get a shower or run an errand. So again, helping both the patient and the family. Every hospice team has a hospice medical director, and they are overseeing all of the medical orders and all the prescriptions that need to be done by a physician. The RN case manager is going to work closely with that hospice medical director to create the personalized care plans. Bereavement services are part of the hospice benefit, and this is offering support to the family following the patient's passing. Grief support is really important part of the hospice benefit, and it's not unusual for the bereavement coordinator to be involved prior to the death also, because there are some pre-bereavement needs, just anticipating the grief, anticipating what's coming. So it's not unusual for them to be involved prior to the patient's passing. And then we've got support personnel. There is an entire group of people running the office who keep it all going and make everything run smoothly.
Okay. So all these services, what do they cost?
So that's a great question. A lot of people want to know that. So traditionally, Medicare has been the payer of hospice benefit because it's usually older people who are needing it. So the Medicare benefit will cover all of the expenses related to your hospice diagnosis. If you're younger than Medicare age, then you're going to have commercial insurance probably. They do provide the hospice benefit, but you need to look into your plan to see what the coverage is to determine that. The VA, veterans are very much covered on the hospice benefit, and they are really near and dear to our heart. What I would recommend is if you are on the VA benefits, or if you are a veteran, just in general, if you're a veteran, you would want to pick a hospice that has been educated and trained on the special needs of end of life for a veteran. There are some unique things that just are part of the service that you volunteered for the country. The Medicaid is the next one that I think that this should all encompass it. The Medicaid benefit covers the cost of hospice. One thing though to know, just so that it can get really confusing talking about insurance. So a lot of people, there's popularity growing for the Medicare Advantage and the managed Medicaid program. So just be sure that you're checking, because there's in-network and out-of-network and costs associated with those kinds of things. And I just don't want you to get tripped up. And then the other thing about payment is if you are receiving the hospice benefit, that's covering your medical care. So if you're living in a facility, or if you are in an assisted living, or you have Deb's group coming in to help you with care at home, those things are all considered part of room and board and would not be covered by the hospice benefit.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I am sure that what you've shared is going to be beneficial to many members of our community. So thank you again for joining us.
I appreciate the opportunity, and please just reach out if there's anything we can do to help you understand it better.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Time is valuable, especially when it comes to caring for a loved one. Instead of spending your day juggling caregiving tasks, you could actually spend quality time with your family, enjoying the memories, playing games, catching up on work, or simply relaxing and getting recharged. A client review stated, "We used First Light Services to care for my mom for almost 3 years in her home. We were very lucky to find such loving and compassionate caregivers. They were knowledgeable about mom's issues and truly cared about her well-being, as well as helping the family learn how to adapt to her changes. Our caregivers are professionally trained, background checked, must pass a drug test, and are compassionate. We offer flexible plans tailored to meet your family's needs, ensuring that you get time back in your day without compromising the quality of care. Don't let another day slip away being a caregiver. Make the call today and let First Light Home Care of Greater Lansing illuminate the pathway to exceptional home care and give you back the gift of time." Welcome back to Senior Care Insights. Our next guest is Darcy Santos from American House. Life enrichment professional for American House. So welcome, Darcy.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Great. I'm so happy that you are joining us. Let me ask exactly, what is a life enrichment professional do?
So life enrichment, to me, I'm biased, but I think it's the best position at a senior living community. It's your activity director. We call it life enrichment because to us it is much more than running activities and programs every day. It's a full lifestyle. But we are the ones to keep everyone social, active, happy, engaged, connected. So that is the basic overview of a life enrichment director.
Okay. And do you cover a certain area, or are you national with American House?
I'm the corporate director. I oversee all the communities. We've got great teams across the company, a fantastic regional director as well, and memory care directors as well. But yes, I'm lucky to oversee all of our communities.
Oh, that's great. So do all the communities have similar activities, or is it based on region or?
So both. We do have some standardized signature programming that you will see at all American House communities. Some are based on levels of care. We have independent living, assisted living, and memory care. So we do have specific programming. We do have a lot of person-centered and individualized programming as well. And of course, based on the residents' interests, the region, all of that, there are some specific programming at each community as well. But so to answer your question, a little bit of both, but we do have some standardized signature programs that you will find at all American House communities.
Oh, great. So what is American House's mission statement?
Our mission statement is living well is being well, and we are promoting a happier, healthier you. So we really focus on a person-centered wellness model of the mind, body, spirit, because we do believe what you are doing, what you're eating, what your lifestyle is every day. If you are living well, you will then in return be well. So we just keep that in mind with everything we do at American House.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It takes all of that to be well, not just activity, but what you eat is who you are, really.
Certainly.
So definitely. So what are some of the signature programs unique to American House?
We have some fantastic programming we do. One of the big ones is called Explore More. So we explore something different every year. We have done a passport program where we travel to different regions of the world. We have done a time traveler program where we travel through different decades and explore all sorts of different things throughout time. We have done a Come Fly With Me program one year while we traveled to different regions of the world. Currently, our Explore More program is called America the Beautiful. So in 2023, we had been traveling to regions of the US, and through that, there are several signature programs each month that all of the American House communities offer. So there is a signature happy hour. Every American House community does the same happy hour, but of course, everyone puts their own local flair and their own feel on it. So this could be anything from a desert sunset fiesta happy hour, Viva Las Vegas. It depends on what region we're in, but we've had some fantastic themed happy hours through the year. Also signature main events, which is a themed meal. It could be dinner at the cattle ranch. When we are in New England, we had a Cape Cod Seafood Fest. We are about to enter the Rocky Mountain region, so we will have a snowball social and a Rocky Mountain Christmas party. So who doesn't love holidays in the mountains, right? So we try and always travel to our residents through our Explore More program. Also within America the Beautiful, we have a road trip presentation. It's kind of the informational piece each month because, yes, it's always fun to be social and have a lot of fun together, but we also want to learn. Our residents are lifelong learners, so we provide them with all the information on that region, states, history, landmarks, national parks, and also offer an opportunity for everyone to share their stories of their travels to that regions, if they've lived in that area. So it becomes a very social program as well.
So they actually travel to different areas of the country together, like.
Yep, which without even having to leave the doors, we all travel together. And as you were mentioning, culinary is so important as well, because what is travel without trying the food anywhere, right? So our culinary directors present a cooking demonstration every month with a recipe from that region. So every month our culinary directors will step out of the kitchen, spend time with their residents, and really host a fun interactive cooking demo. There's also trivia, films, all sorts of additions to really drive the theme throughout the whole month. So that is our current Explore More program. And soon in 2024, we are launching our Let Us Entertain You Explore More program, where we will be doing a deep dive through the wonderful world of entertainment, a different focus on a different kind of entertainment each month, whether it's cinema classics, timeless television, dance, music, literature, art. So next year will be a fantastic Let Us Entertain You program.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
Yep, it will be fantastic. We're really looking forward to it. I also have to mention a huge signature program with American House is Living Well. It is our program in our memory care communities, and it is just a fantastic person-centered program. From when you walk in our doors at any memory care community, you see beautiful images, plaques on the wall, where you really get to know each resident's story, person-centered programming throughout the day with music, arts, fitness, cognitive programming, really focusing on the residents. So we have a beautiful Living Well program as well.
Well, that sounds really great. And how many memory care facilities are there in the United States?
We have over 30 memory care communities.
Okay.
Yes.
Are there any in the Lansing, Michigan area?
We have quite a few in Michigan, more Southeast Michigan, Western Michigan as well. So a lot of American House memory cares in Michigan.
Okay. Yeah, I know they're opening an independent living here shortly in Hazlet, which is just around the corner from where our office is. So I've been watching the progress there, and it's looking fantastic. So
yes, that will be a beautiful community set to open early 2024 in Meridian. So
yes, it's not too far away. I see they've just put windows in and all that kind of stuff. I've been watching all the progress, so that's great. So what are some of the main focuses in life enrichment programming at American House?
So as I mentioned, really focus on wellness. We do a lot of cognitive programming. We have been partnering with Total Brain Health for the last 2 years to offer a really structured, fun cognitive program that is social based. So we all know how important it is to have physical fitness every day, get a good workout, a morning stretch, your aerobics, your Zumba, but you need to work your mind just the same. So we offer quite a variety of cognitive programs. We have a program called Wellness U, where we have a specialist come in each month to discuss something in the health and wellness world for the residents to continue learning, whether it be about the importance of sleep, heart health, healthy eating, stress. So we do have a Wellness U series we offer too. And then music. Music is a big focus. Who doesn't like music, right? But there is a whole science behind what happens to your brain when you're part of making the music, beyond just listening to live entertainment, which we do offer weekly at every American House community. But we have started a program at many of our communities called Sing Fit, and it has been fantastic this year. They've created a wonderful program where everyone is able to engage, sing along. There's trivia questions along the way. There are audio prompts, so there's no visual impairments. Everyone can be involved with Sing Fit. There are physical movements. Like I said, you're working the mind through the trivia, the body through the workout, and singing. You're really working all of your body in a program called Sing Fit that we have jumped into this year, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, music is awesome. I've seen some of our clients not be able to do anything, not be able to walk, and you turn on the music and they just start going. So music therapy is incredible, and a lot of people don't realize it until they start using it. So there's so many different ways that it can be helpful. So what does American House offer to help keep the residents active and living in their best lifestyle in terms of like physical fitness?
Physical fitness, all of our communities offer different kinds of physical fitness throughout the week. And again, we really try and keep this resident focused, person centered. So it really speaks to the personality of that specific group or community. Anything from Zumba. We have fantastic in-house Zumba instructors. Of course, your morning aerobics. Many of our communities have pools, and we do water fitness as well. Dance. We have many dance instructors to come teach ballroom dance classes each month, a seated tap dance class. Even those who say, I can't dance, I've never done this, try a seated tap dance class, and I guarantee everyone will be smiling and they'll surprise themselves with what they're able to do. So fitness is a big push at our communities, definitely.
Okay. Now, do they schedule any outings or things like that together as a group to go places,
Yes.
even if it's independent living, or how does that work?
Yes, every level of care with American House, there are several social group outings each month. And some are large or small. You might be going to a local park for a picnic, out for a happy hour, a brunch. We have had a community multiple years now go on a cruise out of Florida every year. That is an independent living community. But yes, that is a regular part of the lifestyle at American House, is experiencing everything social together with your friends from your community, getting out and about on a regular basis, definitely.
Okay, great. Is there anything else about American House you'd like to share, and why someone would want to choose American House over any other independent or assisted living program?
I mean, everything I have mentioned already, I find that pretty exciting. But also, we really try and make sure that every resident has the lifestyle that they want based on their personality and a sense of purpose. Human beings need purpose. We all do. And we do our very best to ensure those opportunities are made for all of our residents. We do several times a year, every community does a community outreach program. And that can be, recently we had a community make dog treats. It was a kind of a cooking class setting. They made some dog treats. They all got on the bus as one of their outings, went to a local dog shelter, and they were able to hand this out at the animal shelter. We have communities that raise funds for local organizations. A community in Florida, every year they partner with a nearby elementary school, and they paint book bags. They get all sorts of gifts. The residents spend weeks and weeks wrapping these gifts, and they go deliver them to these children at Christmas time. So community outreach is huge with American House, as are intergenerational programs. Our residents love being around kids and other generations, so we make sure regularly, either you're going out to read to a group of students are coming in to play games, join you for your events, reading, arts, fitness. We make sure that different generations are included often as well. And then, of course, family events. So family is very important, as you know. And so getting them involved in your new life with us, your new friends at American House. We invite the families in all the time. There's monthly family events at all of our communities. We really try and give everyone a purpose, a connection, a social outlet, and the lifestyle that they really will thrive with. So that would be, those are some great reasons to come move in with American House.
It sounds awesome, actually. I want to move. No, not yet. But anyway, well, thank you so much, Darcy, for joining us today. I appreciate all the information that you shared. And also thanks for the sponsorship. American House is sponsoring our Senior Care Insights podcast, and we couldn't do it without you. So we totally appreciate everything you do. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. You as well.
This is your chance to get in on the ground floor of a new lifestyle and start your next chapter as a VIP. As a founding member, you'll choose the best apartment and the best view and get great discounts. You'll attend special parties where you'll build rich friendships. So our house will feel just like home, even before you move in.
Welcome back to Senior Care Insights. We now have our final guest for the show today, Kathleen Bernay. Welcome, Kathleen.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. Kathleen is the owner of Touch of Home Systems. So can you tell me a little bit about Touch of Home Systems and the connection you have with dementia?
Sure. Touch of Home Systems was really years in the making. It started as I owned a personal care agency like you do, and I did that for 8 years. And then that turned into a personal care home idea, which I did that for 8 years. And with all the experience that I had witnessed within the agency and then the residents within the home, I started in support group with the Alzheimer's and Dementia Services in Northern Indiana, because I'm in Northwest Indiana. I found them because at the time they were doing monthly education open to the community. And I was taking one of my employees at a time there so we would get some added insight on how we could help our residents and their families. So I started a little informal group at the house, just with our family members. And then one day decided to branch out into the community. And I've been doing it once a month for, 7, 8 years, I think now.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how long have you been facilitating a support group for dementia?
For at least 7, 8 years. I would say back like 2015, 16, probably it started. And easy, yeah.
And what got you into starting this? What specifically triggered you to think that this would be a good option for your community?
Well, the people that in our home, the families within our home, they seem to help them. And they weren't even providing direct care to their family members because we were. But it still helped them in order to how to talk to each other, how to talk to their family members. So I thought, well, and I like giving back to the community. When I had my agency, I did a lot of community events. Our office was in a senior center. We were always providing different kinds of fun things for the seniors to do and outreach for the community. So once the home got established, it was like, how else can I give back? How else can I do something like that? So it just seemed like a natural progression.
Oh, great. Okay. So tell me about what happens at the support group and how often you meet, and give me all the details.
Okay. Well, we meet once a month. My particular group meets every second Thursday from 6 to 7:30, although we're usually there at least an hour over. Anybody is invited. We have a banner outside the church that we do the services, that we do the support group at, on a very busy road. So everybody that goes by sees it all the time, second Thursday of the month, in the time. Anybody can come and go if they want to come in just for a specific question, if they want to come for a while and then they don't come for a while and then they come back, that's fine. It's free. There's no charge. It's just for people that need some support, need some answers. A lot of times it's answers. Maybe they're going out of town. They don't know what they're going to do with their mother or father or grandmother. A lot of times people just want answers. And if they get that they might not come back again. Sometimes people just want the support. They want to know that they have a safe place to go where they can talk about what went on in the past month with no judgment, and people that understand exactly what they're going through. And for a lot of people, that's just what they need. Whether they live with the person or not, they still want that extra support. They want to know somebody else knows what they're going through. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what support groups give you.
So do they typically come with the loved one, or are they on their own? Okay.
Yeah, we never, the person with dementia doesn't come because, well, for two reasons. One, you wouldn't want anybody to talk about you too, right? Because you're sitting there. But the other thing is, it's a very vulnerable place to be. And if someone is sitting there with dementia, the rest of the participants aren't going to want to, they're coming there to talk. They're coming there to vent, to cry, if there's somebody there with the disease, they won't that's open to be able to doing that. Mm-hmm. And especially the person that's there that takes care of them.
Okay. So what kinds of topics typically come up? For example, can you give us a few examples?
Mostly when the people first come to the group, you'd be surprised how many people come asking how can they make them better. Almost like how long does this last? Right? How did they get mom to come back to who she was? Mostly it's that. Once we get over that bridge, that this is a progressive illness and it doesn't do that, it doesn't get better, then it's mostly on how to adapt to where they are now. How do they adapt to the surroundings? We talk a lot about respite. We talk a lot about adult day centers. We talk a lot about caregivers coming in to give that person some support, give that person some additional respite besides just coming to see us for, 2 hours once a month. because caregiver stress is so real and, so life-threatening for them. We want to make sure that, that they have that additional support. So it really has to do a lot with their feelings. When somebody comes to a support group, they're just really full of sadness. They're full because they feel so guilty, that they feel bad, that they just need somewhere to vent. So it's usually about how to get them to see what's happening, to relax a little bit into it, find somebody that'll come in. Even if mom says she doesn't want anybody else in, once somebody else gets in there for a while, they'll get used to them. And they need to get out of that situation a little bit on a regular basis, semi-regular basis, so they can recharge themselves.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what are they looking to receive exactly when they go to the group support?
I don't know. I think they just really want to know that they're not alone. Right. I don't. If they're looking for, we talk about specific answers here and there. Somebody will talk about that they took somebody to a different doctor, a different neurologist, because you'd be surprised how many people see the same doctors. And somebody will go to a different doctor, and then they'll talk about their experiences. They talk a lot about their experiences with doctors and what runs smoothly, what doesn't run smoothly. There's a lot of different. They're all in the same boat. So when they come in, the first thing we always will go around the room and we'll ask somebody, how was your month? And they're usually waiting. They're usually waiting to tell us something that happened, and then the other people that are there, they're at different levels. So they'll be like, wow, is that really what's going to happen to my mom? Or, oh, I remember when that happened. Mm-hmm. That was a pain until that wasn't a pain anymore. Until she started doing this, So we talk a lot about that and a lot about this different stages as it relates to them directly, not as like a postcard or, a picture that says these are the 8 stages or whatever. It's what's going on directly in their lives and how can we give them the support from the group and the insight that we all have in different levels, ways that stories help, different ways that, we can help them through that. People have tried giving us different facilities and things. They've come in and they've given us trays of food. They've brought us coffee. And I tell them all the time, you don't have to do that because all they're going to do is take it home. It's not that kind of a social circle where they don't want to sit back and have stuff to eat and drink. They're there to talk. A lot of times they've been looking forward to that time for the past 2 weeks. So they're ready to talk.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. So we work with people with dementia, obviously, because we are a home care agency. And we've had different times when a caregiver might be going in to help somebody get in the shower because the family member can't get them to take a shower, for example. That seems to be one of the main things that we often run into. Well, mom won't take a shower again. She hasn't had a shower in a week. So we get a caregiver to go in, and every caregiver is a little bit different. But if they're not ready to have a caregiver in, what would you suggest to that person who's having difficulty getting their loved one to, take a shower, get cleaned up, change their clothes, those kinds of things?
Well, you have to, it's important to put yourself where your loved one is. Mm-hmm. All right. Just to tell them to do something probably isn't going to work. It has to be their idea and they have to want to do it. Now it's a lot of, it's cold outside. Let's go put on, we need to put on a sweater. What shirt do you think goes best? What sweater do you like? And even if they can't answer you, still make it a conversation about the weather. They read us. People with dementia and Alzheimer's read us. They know when we don't want to be there. They know when we're upset. They can't speak well, but that ability has risen where they can actually read our behaviors. Mm-hmm. So at our tone, and they recognize the tones in our voices. So make it an experience for them. If they're struggling with something, you can offer to help, but don't just do it for them and take the buttons away and start taking it off and on because you're going to get a behavior back. When it comes to a shower, and make it as warm as you can in there, let the water run, make it really smell good, make it a big, they're not always going to want to, but a lot of times you can get them to. It might not be as often as you want them to, but you can get them to. And you can be honest with them and say, Dad, you're really starting to, stink up the room a little bit. Just real quick, really, we'll put the water on, we'll put some music in there. And, make it an experience for them, because they're afraid of they don't want to take their clothes off. It's cold for them. It makes them very vulnerable. They're afraid of falling. They have real fears towards that. So if you can make it as inviting as you can and put some humor into it, it's going to go a lot further for you than if you just start, but you have to do this because you haven't had one in 3 days, and yet that's not going to work. If anybody out there has been a parent to a child, and it relates sort of the same way. Telling somebody to do something, if they do it, they'll just resent it and they'll do it halfway, right? But if you make it an experience and you make it a little fun, then you're more likely to get the job done and done well. So it's the same thing. It's a lot of the same thing. You have to remember that the biggest thing about dementia and Alzheimer's is to meet them where they are, because that's all they know right now. And if they're cold, they're cold. And even if you're not, they are. So turn the heat up, get them another sweater. It doesn't matter. They're cold. If they, if there's something that they want to eat or something that they don't want to eat, trying to make them eat it is not gonna serve you, right? They're always right.
Always.
Always.
Yeah, one thing that I know that people do too is they might mention it if they're defiant and not want to do it at that point. Then it's good just to try something else and then go back to it at a later time. And then the other thing that works very well, you mentioned music. So music sometimes gets people doing a lot more than you can believe. Music therapy is wonderful for not just getting them to go in the shower, but just for them for anything.
When we had our home, we never had the news on ever. And when we got prepared, the dinner was the biggest event of the day. We started, all TVs went off, activities, for the main, really closed up an hour before dinner, and we just put music on. And we would talk, and then people would help us set the table, and some people would just dance, and some people would. Then we sat down to eat. So we all sat down to eat at the same time at dinner, and then with music playing. And then after dinner was done, then we would play games at the table with music playing. And people that barely could communicate had a ball every night for 2-3 hours. Because during the day you had, home health come in, hospice come in, families come in. We had all these, exercise things going on. But the end of the day around the table, that was everything. And that is one of the number one things that we always express to people. Turn the television off and turn the radio on. And if you make it their genre or just something fun, I don't care if it's August, put Christmas music on. If your mother loves Christmas and she's having a bad day, put Christmas music on. Her mood will automatically pop up, perk up. Dean Martin in our house, the song Sway, I think it was. That was like the number one song for one of our residents that would get angry sometimes for no reason. If you could get over to that CD and put that track on, she would that would be it. She'd be in the groove. So it really does. It's our soul, really. Yeah. So music is everything.
All right. So if you had one piece of advice to give for our final moment here, what would you tell people who have loved ones who have dementia?
It's okay to lie. And it's really not a lie, but it's okay to lie. It's okay to tell somebody something that's not true just to make them feel better. All they want is to feel safe. That's all they're looking for, is to feel safe. So if, like, for instance, we had a resident and in the beginning, she would always ask where her husband was. And we were told he was a mechanic. So we always told him he was getting the oil changed on the car.
Mm-hmm.
And she would accept that. Now, he was getting the oil change in the car sometimes 6, 7, 8, 9 times a day, but she didn't remember that we told her that. So he was always getting the oil change. Oh, that's right. He'll be home soon.
Mm-hmm.
And that made him content. Is a lot of people have a problem with that. Dad's been gone. Shouldn't we tell her that Dad's been gone for 5 years? No, we don't have to tell her that. All you want to do is tell her something that's going to make her happy and safe right now. Right. And for that, Dad's getting an oil change.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We will hopefully have you on again in the near future.
Okay.
Thanks again to everyone who was on the show today. We had Kim Spangler. Thanks also to Darcy Santos. And again, thank you, Kathleen, for joining us. Until next time, this is Deborah Moerland signing off.